Now that we know how to add fractions that have the same denominator, I figure we get a little bit of practice. We'll start off with this one. 5/6 plus 2/6. What's that? What? Ah! Who's been messing with my denominator? This was supposed to say 2/6. Who's messing with my denominators? Ah! I'll show them. We're going to solve this problem anyway. And we know how to add fractions if they have the same denominator. So all we have to do is take these two fractions and make them have the same denominator. Now we can't just scratch out the 3 and write a 6 there because that would change the value of this fraction. But can we make 2/3 have the same denominator as 5/6 without changing the value of 2/3? Yes, we can do that. We can write 2/3 as a fraction that has denominator 6, but it's multiplying the denominator by 2. Of course, we have to multiply the numerator by 2 as well. Check this out. We'll just write the 5/6 plus, we're going to take 2/3 times 2 over 2. I'm strategically multiplying by 1 here. I can multiply by 1 and won't change the value of the fraction. But watch what multiplying by 2 over 2 does. I still have my 5/6. And when I multiply 2/3 by 2 over 2, well, my numerator's 2 times 2 is 4. Denominator's 3 times 2. As planned, that's 6. Yeah, I showed them. We turned this into a problem we know how to do. It's one of my favorite strategies of all time. Take a problem I don't know how to do, turn it into a problem I know how to do. We know how to add fractions that have the same denominator. We just add the numerators. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 over 6, well, those have a common factor of 3. So we can cancel that common factor out. Top is just 3 times 3, bottom's 3 times 2. Cancel that common factor out and we have 3 over 2. And now we know how to handle fractions that have different denominators. We make the denominators the same. You know, I'm going to give that a name. I'm going to call that the common denominator because it's a denominator they have in common. That's a good strategy. Yeah, we showed that person. Let's check out my next problem. Denominator's entirely gone. There's no denominator there. What are we going to do with that? I know what to do. Yeah, that's right. Integer is just a fraction with denominator 1. The age is just 8 over 1. And now we can just use that same strategy we just used. We want to make these two denominators the same. The easiest thing to do is just multiply this one by 5. Well, of course, we have to multiply the top by 5 as well. So we're multiplying the top and bottom by 5. That's the same thing as multiplying 8 over 1 times 5 over 5. So we don't change the value of the fraction at all. And on top we have 8 times 5 is 40. On bottom, as planned, we have 5. And now the denominators are the same. 40 minus 3 is 37 over 5. On to the next problem. These are a piece of cake. Yeah, there's people messing with my denominators. We're showing them. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. I can't just multiply 5 by some integer to get 7. I can't multiply 7 by some integer to get 5. Uh-oh. We're going to have to change both denominators. You know, if I multiply this one by 5 and this one by 7, then both denominators will be 5 times 7. They'll be the same. Oh, that's cool. Check this out. We just take our first fraction, we're going to multiply that by 5 over 5. And our second fraction, we're going to multiply that one by 7 over 7. So the denominators in both cases are going to be 7 times 5, 5 times 7. Same thing, they're 35. So here we have 3 times 5 is 15. Denominator's 35. And here we have 2 times 7 is 14. 5 times 7, of course, is, as planned, 35. And check that out. Our common denominator here, we just multiply the two denominators that we were starting with, 5 and 7. We're going to get a common denominator there. And now that we have a common denominator, these denominators are the same, we know how to add them. We add two numbers with the same denominator by just adding their numerators. And we get 29 over 35. All right, I got one more for you. One more. Let's try this. It's basically the same as the last one, except it's subtraction instead of addition. We already know how to do this. Well, we'll just get the common denominator. We'll just multiply this one by 12 and this one by 9, and it'll all just work out just as planned. So we multiply this one. I have to multiply the top and the bottom by 12, because all we're doing here is multiplying by 1. So this 5/9 is the same thing as 5 times 12 over 9 times 12. Those are equal. And then we'll do over here, we'll multiply the top and the bottom by 9. And sure enough, each denominator is 12 times 9. Or 9 times 12, of course, they're the same. And here we have 5 times 12 is 60. 9 times 12, that's 108. You see it as 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 2 is 18. Add those together, you get 108. 7 times 9 is 63. 12 times 9, we already did that. It's the same as 9 times 12. And then we just do our subtraction. 60 minus 63. The denominators are the same, so we just perform the subtraction in the numerator. 60 minus 63 gives us negative 3 over 108. Now, of course, we have a negative divided by a positive. That means the result is negative. And, hey, 108 is divisible by 3. I know that because the sum of the digits of 108 is 9, and that's divisible by 3. So I know that 108 is divisible by 3. Now I know that 3 times 30 is 90. 108 is 18 more than 90. 18 is 3 times 6. So I know that 3 times 36, 3 times 30 is 90, 3 times 6 is 18 is 108. So I know that 108 is 3 times 36. So I can just cancel out those 3's, and I'll get negative 1 over 36. What's that? I didn't have to use 108 as my common denominator? Why not? I could use 36. Are you kidding? You're right! 9 times 4 is 36. 12 times 3 is 36. That's brilliant! 36 is the least common multiple of 9 and 12, so we can use that as the common denominator instead of 108. And that's easier because it's smaller numbers to multiply by. I don't like multiplying by big numbers. You saw how much trouble I was having with that. So we can just use 36 as our common. In fact, it's our least common denominator. That's the lowest number we could have used as the common denominator. Let's try it out. We had 5/9 minus 7/12. And we're going to use 36 as our common denominator here. It's the least common multiple of 9 and 12. So we know this is going to work. We know that 9 times 4 is 36. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 4. And then here, 12 times 3 is 36. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. And sure enough, as planned, we get the same denominator. 5 times 4 is 20. 9 times 4 is 36. 7 times 3 is 21. And as planned, 12 times 3, that's right, is 36. The denominators are the same. 36, we just subtract in the numerators. 20 minus 21, that's negative 1. And sure enough, keep the denominators the same as 36. Once again, we get negative 1 over 36, and we're done.